Hi everybody, for my MMP update number 1, I'm going to share with you some resources that I've created. I've posted them on a page that's attached to my blog so that they're easy to access. I haven't totally decided on how I'm going to organize this yet. I did just take 2 practice tests this week, so I didn't get quite as far as I had intended to with the project, but I wanted to show you guys what I have so far. So if you visit this page, you can access some of the different resources that I have linked up to my project. I decided that since not all schools will have access to Smart Notebook, I would create some of my presentations using Google Slides in place of that. So that is a little bit of a change, but I think that it will definitely be helping out some teachers who might not have access to these type of resources to try to make it a little more accessible to a broader range. So I created a lesson plan on how to work with some of your struggling readers for some small group instruction. This will be a sample 10-week program, which will go into some different strategies that you can use to focus on, as well as some examples of different texts to use. In the beginning, you want to be taking inventories of where your students are starting out, going through different strategies, making sure that you're incorporating different areas of literacy, such as using sight words, studying different phonics patterns, using some reading strategies, and incorporating some reader's response to respond to text. I've added some of the resources that I'm going to use for each of these lessons along the side so you can navigate through them, as well as materials that would be necessary in the bottom. I'll be creating similar plans for each of the units that I proposed in my storyboard outline. I attached some links to some of the different resources that I'll be using in the unit, such as Smart Tutor, which has quick mini lessons for certain areas of phonics, phonemic awareness, vocabulary, sight words, and reading comprehension that you can either use to pre-teach a skill or concept, or you can use it afterwards to help students review. Here, to build reading fluency, you can have students visit the website Starfall, and you can assign them different texts to read based on your grade level. So my project is focusing on first grade reading. So I would go through. Oh. So those are some plays. Here's our talking library. You can have students listen to the text as it's read, and you can assign them different text to read, or you can have students self-select. A nice feature is that it highlights the text as it's being read, and you can adjust the volume as well to help engage some of your students who have different learning modalities. Some assessment tools that I would like to use are plickers, which you print out a card for each student, and the orientation that they hold it up correlates to a multiple choice question, so A, B, C, D. Each student will have an individualized plicker. The number of the student will be in this upper corner over here. And depending on the orientation at which they hold it is their response, and then you can scan the plicker cards with your device, either a phone or a tablet, and the program will help you analyze the data to see how many of your students are understanding what your questions that you're asking, and look for patterns, as well as to see which students you can look for you will need to be giving extra help to. You can also use, I'm going to be using Padlet for formative assessments. You can include pictures, you can attach a PDF or another format of document, you can embed a video, you can share links using a Padlet, you can use it as an exit ticket, or have students pose questions or take a poll. These are movable, so you can move them around, you can drag it down to open up the space. I'm going to be using these for several different pieces of my unit as a quick formative assessment tool. Here I have an example of using Google Sheets to track students' progress throughout the process of the unit. And you can use you can track their assessments as well as create a graph of sight words or your schedule. I also am featuring the Cam Scanner app where you can document some of the materials that you create if you want students to be able to view an interactive read aloud that you read with them, or really any resource. You can take a quick picture of it and it uploads as a PDF, which you can then download and share as you wish. Okay, another thing that I'm going to be using in my unit is recording my students running records or listening to brief excerpts of them reading so that I can either go back to check to monitor students' progress over time, or you can share these recordings with your students to have them analyze their own process. I'm also creating a Kahoot quiz for several of my lessons, such as here's one based on the features of fiction. You have students join in using a game pin, and then they will respond. I'm not going to go through the whole thing now for the sake of time, but that's where I'm starting out. So let me know what you think.